Hello everyone! If you are watching this, it is probably because you are on the DemandMaven website and you're about to dig into the complete year in review for 2019. You could also just be on YouTube, to which I say, welcome. Welcome to this little corner of the world. Well, if we have not met, my name is Asia. And I just wanted to come over here and film something pretty quick for you guys, since I know that this article is pretty long. And as I was editing and reading and uploading and all that, I started thinking, what if I just filmed something like a little 5-6 minute video? That would make it more digestible, I think. Oh God, I really hope this is 5 or 6 minutes. I really hope it is. If this video is not 5 or 6 minutes long, then you have my permission to call the police. So without further ado, let's break down what 2019 was like for me and for DemandMaven, or at least just the highlights, the TLDR, as I'd like to say. If you read last year's year in review of 2018, then you would know that 2018 was really all about fearlessness. It was all about moving into being fearless, not really succumbing to limiting beliefs or just fear. Moving into 2019, the overall theme has definitely been about balance, and that was an intention that I set at the end of last year, and it has absolutely manifested in many different ways, just in my business, in my personal life, work-life balance, balance between mind, body, and soul. I mean, literally every single thing that I wanted to tackle from a balance perspective, I absolutely did in the year. I pretty much felt so unbalanced in 2018 that I realized that if I wanted to keep doing this and if I did not want to burn out, I was going to need to cultivate some kind of balance for myself in my life, in all aspects of my life. Pretty much since day one of 2019, I've been doing that. I've been crafting that life. We're gonna start with the major wins for 2019. If I'm being totally transparent, it was very hard to whittle this down to something sensible. There's a ton of wins that I experienced. There was so much that I did that I'm so proud of, and I really hope it doesn't come across as bragging. I mean, it truthfully felt like everything was a win. I was just really proud of the things that I did, the places I went, the people I got to meet, the events and conferences I got to go to and speak at. And there were opportunities that came my way that I was just absolutely blown away by. Just absolutely blown away. I didn't even think it could or would be possible. If I had to pick, there were two that definitely stuck out for me in 2019. The first was crossing the 6-figure mark and also winning an award. We're gonna start with crossing the 6-figure mark. DemandMaven actually tripled in profitability from the previous year. And in terms of revenue, we more than doubled, if I'm not mistaken. I think I wrote in the article it was 2x, but technically did more. We did more than that at the end of the year. And I just wanted to say thank you to my clients, my friends, my advisors, advocates, people who have been supporting me and just rooting me on pretty much since day one. Just wanted to say thank you so much. I truly believe that this was our win. I know you're gonna say it was all me, but I mean, I see this as group effort. And then I won an award for being the up-and-coming marketer of the year by TAG, or the Technology Association of Georgia, because I am in Atlanta. I was not expecting this award at all. I just wasn't. I wasn't expecting this award. And I even told my husband not to buy a ticket and to come because I was pretty certain I wasn't gonna win it, and I was gonna feel bad if he had paid money to go to this award ceremony and then I didn't win, and then it would just really feel like an incredibly expensive date night, and that would have made me feel bad. But then I did actually win, and I know I'm saying this like it's a surprise, but it truthfully kind of was. Very quick shout out to Lauren Patrick, by the way, for nominating me in the first place. I do not tell her enough, but I love that woman. She's amazing. She's just absolutely amazing. Okay, the challenges. Well, in the article at least, you'll see that there were a lot of challenges. I feel like for my second year in business, pretty par for the course is what my guess is. The toughest to overcome in terms of challenges for the year were definitely the pipeline and opportunities challenges that I was having. And then the second was the depression that I went through. And I'll start with the pipeline and opportunities piece first. DemandMaven was so booked with work that I was basically booked 3 to 6 months out. On the one hand, that sounds like, good problem to have. And on the other hand, it was extremely frustrating for me to tell new prospects, new founders, people who wanted to work with me who I wasn't yet working with, that it was gonna be 6 months or 3 months before we could actually get a project going. Not only that, but I also couldn't actually even really give new prospects an actual real date on when can I concretely say that I can take on a new client or have availability. What is that concrete date? What is that concrete slot that I need to fill? It was actually impossible for me to do that in 2019. And it led to some very frustrating situations where I would feel awful for obviously not knowing, and also that the way that I was operating, that it could get so frustrating, that it could get so bad. I don't want to say that it was a complete and total nightmare, but I do know that anyone who experienced that, it was, I mean, on the one hand, it's a good problem to have. There's not enough me to go around, but at the same exact time, there's not enough me to go around. It just was incredibly frustrating for all those founders and prospects, people who I talked to who wanted to work with me, but either I couldn't give them a really clear date or it was just way too far out. And the reason why this was hard for me to do or tough for me to do, I mean, no, I don't even want to say that. It was impossible. It was impossible for me to give very clear start dates. So if you got a clear start date, man, you were lucky. The culprit, and after working with a business coach actually, and after looking at the overall operations of the business, I learned that the culprit was my open-ended marketing retainers. So typically the way that I would work with a founder or a business in general would be, we would do a strategic engagement first, and then we would move into a marketing retainer. And the marketing retainer was monthly. It was just like SaaS. You could cancel at any time, and I would invoice every month, and it was flat rate. It was great. Except it makes it impossible to plan for a services business. In the SaaS world, that is how SaaS companies typically grow. They charge monthly, cancel anytime, even better if you push an annual deal, and that's great. And that worked really awesome for software because it's software as a service. Software, for the most part, infinitely scales, in theory. We're gonna put that in theory, finger quotes. We're assuming it's gonna scale, it doesn't require more people to sell more product. In my case, it requires more people to sell more of my service. So the unstructured, open-ended marketing retainer was basically murder on my services business. It was just absolutely murder. And as soon as I realized it, it was just very clear that pretty much my entire book of clients were on these open-ended marketing retainers. And happy, doing great. But what was really awkward was, well, if they can cancel any time, then I pretty much have to check in like every month, right? And that's kind of awkward because you basically can't really plan more than a month out. Well, that just seems like bad business. And looking back on it now, it was not a very smart move. I needed to learn the lesson for sure. I needed to learn the lesson, but I don't think it was that smart in the end. So what we did instead was, instead of doing these super open-ended marketing retainers, we have now replaced them with structured engagements. They are still very similar in terms of how we execute and how we actually do these services. That hasn't really changed. It's really all about how is the actual engagement structured. It has an end date now, and now there's very clear endpoints on when I can gauge on if I need to wrap up a project or not. And also, anytime I need to build up a pipeline or actually bring on, maybe I want to bring on a new client project or what have you, now I can actually say, oh, look, I have an opening coming up soon. I know that they're looking to really just do this one project together and that's it. So I'll have an opening on these dates or starting this month. And that I just know is going to work way better than whatever it was that I was doing before. I basically killed the open-ended retainer is what that long ass story was all about. We're already operating in that way and I am a much happier person, just much happier. Okay, now for the depression. Oh, I was not ready. I wasn't ready for the depression that hit me in the summer. This got really dark. I really hope this didn't get too dark. Sorry if this was triggering for some people. Truly don't mean to, you know, make this super sad all of a sudden. I basically hit a wall. I burnt out. I took on a project that I shouldn't have. There were a lot of contributing factors that I won't get into too many details about, but let's just say that definitely took on a project I shouldn't have. Burnt out. I don't know. It was like I was a pancake, like on the ground. Like I couldn't get out of bed most mornings, but I did anyway. And in some ways, I think that exacerbated the problem. And at the same exact time, take a vacation. Why do you do this to yourself? I don't know. Anyway, as soon as the summer ended and the seasons changed and we moved into fall, it was like I woke up again and I snapped out of it. There were definitely a few hobbies that really helped. So gardening was awesome for managing depression and also getting out of it and really investing in myself again. And this is where I started to see the upswing at the end of the year. Running a business when you're a company of one, it just became so clear to me that it's just so important to really look after your mental health and look after your physical health. Those things are just so important. I experienced it firsthand this year. I have experienced it throughout my life just in general, but when it hit me hard and I had to in many ways carry on as if no one knew, even myself. Okay, biggest lesson. The biggest lesson that I learned was very simple. Routines set me free. For my entire life, routine has always felt like something that was limiting and like something that put a damper on any of my creativity. And it's always felt like it hindered me in some way, that it was boring, that it contributed to feeling boring, etc. all that. I definitely learned that routines are actually really freedom. The less energy that I spend on making decisions about my day, about making decisions about how I want to spend my morning or how I want to spend my evening, the less that I do that, the more energy that I have to put elsewhere. And it just became so clear, this entire energy dynamic all year long, that routine has become something that I just fully embrace now. It's my best friend. It truly is. Next to my coffee machine. Cool. But also I have my whole brain when it comes to routine. So with a routine, I find that I'm just able to handle challenges and conflict better. And when I need to make good decisions, for whatever reason, having a routine has actually helped being able to make good, healthy decisions. I have my whole brain as opposed to half my brain when I'm really stressed out, I'm frazzled, I'm obviously unstructured, and the lack of routine is impacting my life. So something to consider. All right, what is coming in 2020? Now, I love this one because it's a little bit meta, because in many ways, you're experiencing it right now. Consistent marketing is something that I know has been a big challenge for my business. I am so busy doing everyone else's marketing that I so very rarely prioritize my own. And that sounds crazy for a marketer to say, but it's true. It's the cobbler's kids who have no shoes. I mean, it's the same kind of mentality, but I will say that that is just not an excuse anymore. And it's so clear to me that doing my own marketing in the way that is more natural for me makes sense. I have been trying to force myself to write content. Don't get me wrong, it's something that I can do and I do love doing, but the time that it takes me to write, it's just not as fast for me. So instead, I've actually decided, for the business at least, I am going to create more of these videos because I can actually film and edit a video way faster than I can write a fully thought out article. And that's just purely from a personal preference perspective. What you're experiencing right now is hopefully the very first of many. And I will say that I have really spent quite a lot of time thinking and planning and producing, and I'm so excited to share with you guys all of the things that I've done so far and also what is to come. I knew that this was going to be something that I wanted to tackle in 2020, so I actually spent the last quarter of last year really focusing on building this out, not only for myself and for my business, but also to provide value and to contribute in a way that I just really haven't been. And it feels very weird to say that, because as a marketer, you'd think I would just be marketing all the time. And awkward. If you stay tuned, if you stay in touch, either with this channel on YouTube or of course with just the DemandMaven blog, you will definitely see everything that I've been cooking up, working on, producing over the last few months. You'll also see how things have changed over time, because I've been doing this for a while now. I have much to share with you just over the coming weeks and months, and many more things, of course. But you'll definitely see the process and the progress that I want to say that I have made. You'll definitely see the progress that I have made, for sure. It's pretty noticeable when you do see it, so I'm kind of excited to see what you guys think. Okay, the next one is actually all about branding for DemandMaven. Now, I have a really funny story about this that's related to this, that triggered all of this. And I was doing a customer interview for a client last year, several months ago, and I was doing this customer interview, and we weren't sharing our videos on Zoom, and instead it was just showing preview images of like whatever like profile photo that we have uploaded. And the one that I used pretty much all over the internet was on Zoom. The customer, at the end of the call, at the end of the interview, she was like, "Can I ask you a personal question?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, of course, yes. Anything." And she goes, "Are you over the age of 25? And I was like, "Yes." And my first thought was, am I being targeted, or like, am I going to be farmed for my organs? Like, what? And this is over Zoom, mind you, so I don't even know what she looks like, but then she says, "Okay, because your profile photo makes you look like you're 12. And that's when it hit me that, oh man, I gotta update my branding. Pretty much all of the branding, the photos that I use, maybe even the colors, maybe even the logo, definitely the website. The website, it's at a place where I really want to put effort and invest in the website, because I think it could be way better. It's doing its job now. It's absolutely doing its job now. But I think just from like a brand perspective, and also just from a professional perspective, it needs some love, it needs some work, and then there's of course the personal side. So I have not seriously taken any headshots, although that is coming. It's coming soon. Everything I'm setting these intentions and they're already happening. It's like January 8th and things are moving. Yeah, that definitely needs an update as well. Definitely expect to do that at some point, and I'm really excited to. I mean, I think it'll be very needed and welcome, and I hope that, you know, you guys like it too. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize if this was longer than like 6 minutes. If I said that lie, I am so sorry. You have my permission, like I said, to call the police. Like you are absolutely in that right. I really hope that watching this was maybe a little bit more entertaining than reading. I don't know, it could have been. It could have not been. That's fine. Either one. My name is Asia again. I am the founder of DemandMaven, where we work with early stage startups on reaching their very first growth milestones, from the first 100 customers to 1,000 and beyond, of course. If you want to stick around, because this is not the last video I'm ever producing, then definitely hit subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe and click the notifications button so you don't miss a single video. And also, if you're on the demandmaven.io website, don't hesitate about subscribing to the blog, because you know, that's how you're gonna get all the deets and all the stuff. Thank you again. I wanna read all of your years in reviews. Years in reviews? Year in reviews. I wanna read all of your reviews. Your year in reviews, years in reviews? I don't know how to say that. You're just gonna have to deal with it, and that's fine. I actually wanna read yours though. I wanna know what you guys learned in 2019. I wanna know what's coming in 2020. I wanna know the things. What were the challenges? What things did you overcome? What did you learn? What were your wins? Yeah, just that. No big deal. Just like encapsulate all of 2019 into like an article or a video or something. That's cool. But please, I would truly love to read it. I'm fascinated by them. That's why I'm doing this, obviously. So thank you so much. Bye, y'all.